and welcome to Policy and Politics with me, Tarun Nangia. As far as the GST concerned, we have come a long way. But what is the road ahead for GST, which is very important? India is now looking at a high growth phase for the next decade or so. GST is something which will be a very important component which can either encourage a lot of people to invest in manufacturing in India, or it can be a hurdle also. So how much friendly we are with GST and how much we can take GST to the smallest MSME or even small manufacturers, that is very important. And a lot of cases that happen in GST, legal cases, give us a light into the problems that GST has which needs to be rectified. So wherever there is a dispute, it's not necessary that the manufacturer is at fault always. He might have a genuine grievance, and that is why we also have lawyers on today's show who will give us that input also. I would like to welcome, first of all, Dr. Vijay Kalantri, politician, philanthropist. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Kalantri. I have with me senior advocate Vijay Agarwal. He's a well-known lawyer based out of Delhi. The recent cases, the Chanda Kochar case, where he famously, I think, represented his husband, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Vijay Agarwal. I have with me Mr. Gagan Kumar. He runs a law firm called Krishnomics Legal, has a number of leading corporate clients on his rolls. Many of them in the GST matters also where he is represented. So he would get in that angle for us today. That what are the pain points of GST? I welcome you, Mr. Gagan Kumar. Let us start from the beginning. First, we'll get the industrialist angle. Then we'll move to the dispute angle. Dr. Vijay Kalantri, an opening statement by you on this issue.
Thank you, Tarun, and my colleagues Gagan Kumar and Vijay Agarwal. GST is a landmark decision taken by the government, a very bold step. Successive government has been talking about single point taxation, goods and services taxes, but the present government implemented it in a very bold way. And it's a one-point tax which we industry and trade needed. Only when the GST came in picture, of course, after that, a lot of amendments have been taken place from time to time. A lot of suggestions have been taken into consideration. And of course, the revenue has been increasing on regular basis. But there are only one or two areas which needs to be looked into. One is petroleum products and realty sector should come within the ambit of GST, which is a suggestion made by industry so that the multiple taxes on them goes away. And the second is, wherever there is 28%, of course they say only on 50 items, but that also is on the higher side. On tobacco, alcohol, and luxury item you can have, but not on every item you can have 28%. Like paint is not a luxury item, or there are many small items which are plywoods and all, which are used even by a common man. So, of course, if it is used by luxury people, it is used by common men. So this has to be distinguished. Second is that many, of course, my advocate friends may not like it, but many of the provisions which are of criminal in nature, offense, should be compoundable and should be also relooked at. Because don't treat the taxpayer always as a criminal. See, few stray cases, suppose India has such a big populous number of registration, there are more than, I think, 2 crore registrations. In that, if there are 5 cases, they are highlighted. Oh, evasion of 30 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 5 lakhs. I said some of the media should never highlight these small things. Because what is 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs and 20 cases? Or about even 10,000 cases in crores of cases. So one has to see how it's going. So also should highlight the positive points. Okay, we are from manufacturing sector, we have been able to get so much of GST. From MSME, we are able to get so much of GST. From trade and services, we are able to get so much of GST. Government should highlight these to encourage others to come into that.
Before I go to Advocate Vijay Agarwal, may I ask you, I saw your photos in the press and TV media over the past 2-3 days, especially in Maharashtra. You had a one-on-one meeting with the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Then, of course, the newly elected ministers, Narayan Rani and few others, 5-6 ministers.
And Mr. Karada.
Yeah. So you were that time representing the MSME sector also as, I don't know, were you representing the World Trade Center in Bombay, which you had, or this is part of the industry association?
No, my All India Association of Industry I was representing. But of course, I'm a chairman of World Trade Center, so we speak everything. I was talking.
So did you raise the issue of GST also with ma'am?
No, I raised the issue. I said simplification and deregulation is necessary. I said, madam, the operating level, you at the level of your thinking, it is easy to explain that this is my problem and you are able to solve it. But the operating level, you have to make the law so simple that they also understand that what we are talking. Rather than you make it so regulation, because people think that no, once we have got a power, we are powerful. No, you have to think it like rectification. I think both my advocate colleague will agree. The rectification of returns in income tax, everywhere it is allowed, but in GST, no. The penalties. So excess of any power you give to down level, then the unfair practice starts. This should be avoided. I admire Mr. Modi ji by saying I want corruption to go. So if you want corruption to go, then simplify the laws.
Okay. Point well taken. Advocate Vijay Agarwal, GST intelligence routinely raids. There is a power of arrest with them. You think that is a deterrent? Because I have been told by certain people that people completely avoid paying GST because they don't understand it's too complicated and they feel that I'm necessarily going to get into trouble. So avoid it. What are your thoughts on this?
I 100% agree, Mr. Vijay Kalantri, though he said that if the offense is made compoundable, my lawyer's friend may not like it, we will like it. We don't want people to go to jail and then we don't people engage us to defend us. No, we are happy if the people are happy. Now, please see, he is very right that excess of everything is bad, and for experience, he is very right in saying that if you give too much power to an executive, it goes onto everyone's head. Now, please see, I have had cases. Recently, I took a stay from the division bench of High Court. The GST officers entered my client's premises and without talking anything, he slapped the manager. And that got recorded. So the moment I displayed the clip in the High Court, I got the stay against the proceedings. So, and Supreme Court has said that, okay, you record when SSC comes and joins you, you should have the CCTV cameras. They came and on a CCTV, the GST officer is caught instructing the staff to switch off all the CCTV cameras. So please see, today there is a terror कि साहब GST आ जाएगा. So there is a terror like this. Please see, this offense is an offense. If below 5 crores offense, it is bailable. Above 5 crores, it is non-bailable. So a man can stand and say that I cannot be arrested because the liability which is going to be on me is going to be 4 crore 99 lakh 9,999. But the officers, what they do is they say that he might have committed evasion of above 5 crores and they arrest the man. What is this might have? So I don't understand this. So first of all, there has to be an adjudication. And then if the liability is crystallized, then only you can go and arrest people. But they are simply arresting people. And moreover, as earlier, in the financial fraud cases, we say that there is no coordination between CBI, SFIO, ED. Here, there is no coordination among various departments. Intelligence departments come separately, circle departments come separately. There is All India and unit separately. So I have people, and Delhi High Court is giving stay in such matters. I have people coming and telling me that 3 different branches are raiding them, picking them, and asking them same question. And the biggest problem, Tarun, is this circular trading. See, in case people, in order to avail bank loan, bring a public issue, they want to increase their turnover. So there is no loss to the government. Suppose a person manufactures, purchases, sells 10 cars. But he wants to show 20. So in those purchase is fake and sale is fake. So there is no loss to the government. So the department can never say that there is a loss to the government exchequer above 5 crore of rupees. So in circular trading, conceptually, there is no loss to the government. I'm not saying that it is not wrong. It is wrong to spice up or beautify your balance sheet by increasing the sales. But there is no loss to the government, so why are you arresting such people? And then they're arresting people, no amount is in the arrest memo. And there is something ludicrous. The worst power is exercised by the officer. He can arrest you, he can attach your property, he can do anything to you, he can make your family members accused, he can seize your bank account. And then GST officer says that any statement given to me is like a statement given to court because I'm not a police officer. So I don't understand. In Hindi they say, Kauwa chala hans ki chaal aur apni bhi bhul gaya. This is all I can say. So let me tell you, Mr. Kalantri was so right that people should not feel. I mean, once I heard the interview of one Delhi police commissioner who had joined, he said people should not be afraid of khaki. People should respect khaki. So that kind of a culture should come to GST. We receive calls, "Arey saab, GST aa gayi." They will raid, they will take their mobile phones and everything. Today, there is a havoc in all the big businesses. There is a havoc if GST comes. People are now less afraid of CBI, less afraid of ED. They are more afraid of GST. That is why Mr. Kalantri is right. I have opened a separate branch in my office. We do only GST. Now my GST practice is more than ED and CBI practice because people are just running after. And moreover, adjudication. No fixation of liability, and you are saying that he's done the tax evasion of above 5 crores. So I don't understand. And moreover, in police, when you call people for investigation, you have to produce for 24 hours. They are keeping people there for 3 days, and then if you don't satisfy some demands, and then the person gets arrested. I'm not saying the personal demands. They say that we want to recover the revenue. You deposit this money into the exchequer, otherwise we will arrest you. So in couple of cases, I moved an application to get the cell site, to seize the sales, the telephone details with cell site locations of the investigating officer and my client, so that one can know that he was there for so many days. So this is the problem that these people are facing. If they pay the money, then only they are let out.
Advocate Vijay Agarwal raised a very good point at the end, which is one of the best points, that you are forced to pay up. A notice is not issued to you. If you say, issue me a notice, notice is not issued. So you will arrest if you don't pay up. Is that right? I'll go to Mr. Gagan Kumar at this point. Sir, you deal with such kind of cases. What are the issues?
Thanks, Tarun. See, the rationale was very good. The concept is that indirect tax cost should not be a cost to the business, indirect tax. But the way it came is that one nation, one tax. It subsumed so many taxes. It took away all the octroi, all the chungi, etc. The one of the major benefit of this was that it literally killed the cash economy. Now, who were the affected person by the killing of cash economy? It was largely the businessmen who were dealing in cash, and to a large extent, small and very small industry, which is handloom industry essentially. They were the worst affected. Now, the idea was to contain the corruption, to put everything on a digital platform. Everything has to be digitized. There would be no interaction required with the officer. But as Mr. Agarwal pointed out, now we are actually dealing with multiple authorities. Now there is a state GST and then central GST. And I have also come across cases where one day the businessman was raided by central GST and next day state GST comes for some inspection. So that creates major challenge for any businessman. See, the way, and I have said it on your show on several times, that the way law should be drafted, two hallmarks should be there: simplicity and stability. Now, I understand that the way GST was implemented, there were many challenges and government was very proactive in addressing them. So stability took time to reach, but simplicity still remains a challenge. And the case in point and the three major pain points are the input tax credit, which continues to remain a challenge. Second is the refunds. And thirdly is the threat of arrest. Now, before GST, when we were in the earlier regime that was service tax, the law was very clear, and even the Supreme Court held that until there is a final determination and the tax evasion is proved, you cannot arrest anyone. That is the major point which is missing. See, what is happening is that because of the technical issues, because of the technological issues, 96% of the law-abiding citizens could be converted or could be regarded or could be labeled as tax evaders, which is not a healthy sign for the industry. See, end of the day, any country thrives on the taxation, which is the only and not the only, but the primary source of funding for the government. Now, if we are going to take away that entrepreneurship skill or the zeal of entrepreneurship from the businessman, then how would we grow the economy? Foreign investors, in any case, are wary. You look at any foreign director who may be a director in a subsidiary of an Indian company, they are wary of such provisions. Nobody would like to be arrested for an offense which is yet to be proved. So these are major areas of concern. See, the way I see it is currently the way law is being implemented, it is becoming heaven. And heaven for, as Mr. Kalandri pointed out, it is becoming heaven for chartered accountant and lawyers. Although as much as we make money out of this, but that's not the idea. We don't intend to make money out of misery of the businessman. We would rather make money advising them in productive things, in constructive things, instead of making money out of their misery. So I'll stop here at this point, and then we'll...
At this juncture, I'll go to Dr. Vijay Kalantri. Dr. Kalantri, anything that you would like to comment, and then I may ask you my question on the comment made by the two panelists.
Good thing of GST, I missed out one, was octroi. You know, we were wasting about more than 15,000 crore of worth of fuel on transport. And fortunately, the transport system has become good. If my truck has to go from Bombay to Delhi, it will take 6 days or so, 5 days, 6 days. Now it is 3 days, and then it can return in a week's time. So that has become good. The movement of transport, movement of cargo has become good. But as I said earlier, we need a simplified law which is implementable by even a common man. Because the idea of the government is revenue. Idea is not harassment. Idea is not that there is some unfair practices. Idea is not that you go every time to get problem and go to lawyer. That's not the idea. That wastes our time also. And as Mr. Gagan Kumar rightly said, they would like to do something concrete advisor rather than only advising on something which is of this type. So what I feel is that government should look at good suggestions, not suggestions by few, but like Mr. Gagan Kumar, Mr. Vijay Agarwal, you know, they are experienced people. They know what they are talking because they are dealing with these cases day to day. Talk them in confidence. Don't talk to only few people who are big industrialists or big people because they will not like to criticize government or say something frankly. But Mr. Agarwal and Gagan Kumar has nothing to do with the government. So they will come and give you correct suggestions. Like I speak correctly, but many people don't like that also many times. You know, this is good for you. And there the government will be also praised. Because the whole idea of the government is to collect more revenue and bring in more people in your ambit rather than you destroying people. Like he rightly said, Mr. Vijayagar, that they want people to, a policeman said that in Khaki Vardi you should respect us and come and say your problem is us. Rather than seeing Khaki Vardi, you run away from us. Even you don't discuss your problem because there will be a problem from you. It should to create more problems. So here it creates more problems. So whole idea is that, and further this taxation, this 28%, wherever there is more taxation, there is more, that time there is bound to be some evasion. If you make things reasonable and implementable and simplified, your collection will go up. See, they reduce so many taxes on so many of the 28%. and the taxes went up. I remember Mr. VP Singh used to always say, reduce the tax slabs. You will collect more. And it happened. And more taxpayers came in the fold also. Because nobody likes to evade tax.
I want to
pay. At the same time, I don't want to invite them to my house.
See, one 30-second comment from you, Dr. Kalantri, then I'll go for my 2 comments from other panelists. Do you want a rationalization of taxes as in one merit and one demerit rate? It's either 18% or 0, either 14 or 0, 12 or 0. Instead of having this multi-layered structure of 28% plus surcharge, 18, 12 and 5, do you think we should have lesser number, or do you think that's not possible?
No, I agree with you. No, that 5% for small people is okay. That without input credit you are giving them. But otherwise there should be only 2 rates, 12% and 16% or something. For 2 items you can have the alcohol and tobacco, you can have 28%. I'm not against these luxury goods. But alcohol and tobacco, I'm not saying to encourage people to drink or eat, smoke, because they are bad for health also. But at the same time, let people have their own life. Let them decide about their life. Why should we worry?
Yes.
But at least these 3 slabs will help you. Okay. Because the 28% for 2 items or 3 items will not bother anyone.
Point.
And there will be no evade. And if they want to evade, they are going to evade. You can't do anything.
For 1-2 items, 28% is okay. Primarily alcohol,
tobacco and all.
I get
Otherwise, 12 and that 5% is for small people, and 12 and 16% is the right, or 8 and 16%, whatever government feels. You will increase your revenue by double, sir. First 2 months you may have problem, but that you have to take a risk.
Okay, now I'll take comments in a minute each from my other panelists since we're out of time. Mr. Vijay Agarwal, rationalization of the slabs, or you feel what is happening is all right in terms of the number of slabs?
Of course, Mr. Kalantri is right that there should be rationalization as less number is always right. And Mr. Kalantri said that we as a lawyer could better comment. We will not be afraid, like industries will not be afraid, because on lawyers there is no GST, there is reverse burden. So we can be sure that they will not come to our doors knocking. And moreover, this one more problem is there, I missed out earlier, that there is a circular of 2015, which was for the other department, for intelligence department, that has been extended to GST. GST officers are now getting incentives on digging out these avoidance of tax. So that is why they create a pressure to earn the incentive that, okay, no, you cough up the money first. So this is can there be an incentivization of the executive? I'm not saying you give them increment, you give them better facilities, that is all right. But if you directly link it to the amount the officer recovers, then of course, then there has to be the misuse of power. So this is conceptually absurd.
Okay. So with what Mr. Vijay Agarwal said, very interesting. Mr. Gagan Kumar, is this a danda economy in the making? Danda chala ke paisa collect karo aur aapko institute mile?
See, 2 things, and one is the rationalization of tax rate. So I believe that there should be a single rate of taxation, which could be in the range of about 12%. Reason being that the multiple tax rates create distortion in the system and unnecessarily block a lot of capital. Now, if the higher tax rate could be a reason or a deterrent for the consuming sin products, then you announce the lockdown today and you see the crowd at the thekas. So that is actually not a deterrent working out. If a Mercedes also is to be sold applying the tax rate of 12%, let it be there, because there is a supply chain, huge supply chain, which will be immensely benefited. If there are people who can afford a Mercedes, and it reduces, the whole idea of GST was to reduce the prices so that the consumer gets benefited. Currently, in my view, the distortion is not actually helping the consumer. On to the second point, as Mr. Kalantri also pointed out, and that the law has to be drafted bearing in mind the common man. See, obviously there would always be unscrupulous people who would take advantage and who will evade tax. But is it right to treat or make the law so unfair that it affects the 95 or 96% of the population which is law abiding. As we say in the legal principles, that king can do no wrong. So it should not reciprocate unfairly to an unfair misuse of the law. Lastly, obviously, there are three challenges for the growth of India, and they need to be addressed immediately. They have been causing trouble since independence. One is unbridled power to bureaucracy. They are not ready to let it go. Secondly, the first 40, 50 years we dealt with socialism, we realized that it is not helping us. Now, the concept of freebies, which is opiating the population. So that is the second challenge which we need to deal. Third is the large businessmen for whom provisions like GST are a boon, because that is creating an artificial barrier to the entry to the business sector. So MSME sector and the small businessman is finding it challenging to grow owing to the compliance cost. So if these things are addressed, then I'm sure this is a beautiful law, is going to benefit economy immensely.
Point very well taken. Thank you so much, Mr. Gagan Pawar, Dr. Vijay Kalantri, Advocate Vijay Agarwal. You have shared a lot of valuable views. I'm sure the officers, the government, the ministers, and businessmen who watch this show are going to find them useful. And may I say that if they adopt a few of these, I think India and Indians will benefit. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.